All right, Alex.
What you seeing?
I got 122 flag, 107 front, uphill.
My name is Scott Epstein, also known as Scotty the Caddy, and welcome to the Links and Lifestyle Podcast. I'm grateful to be here and thankful that you're taking the time to listen. It's great to be back after a couple weeks off, and my transition to New Jersey has been smooth. I want to talk about the New York Knicks winning the NBA title. I've learned a lot and taken some great lessons from it, and I'm excited to share them. That can apply both to life and golf. I've had a vision for this episode going back a while as they made their run, so let's tee off and dive in. Before we do, I want to give a shout out to my son, Alex. Alex has gotten very into golf, and on Thursday, June 4th, he made a hole-in-one on a 130-yard hole at Island West, called me absolutely losing his mind. It was really exciting, and I'm excited for him. You golfers out there, if you've had one or seen one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Great job, Yaya. I grew up a New Jersey Nets fan and hated the Knicks. I don't like to use that language with Melissa anymore, but I grew up strongly disliking the Knicks, was a big MJ guy as well. So let's get that out of the way. Over the last few years, my appetite for the NBA was very low, and especially low as the playoffs started. Not gambling, being focused on other things that I'm paying attention to. It just really was not a priority or on my radar. As their run through the East really got going, especially as they were pounding the Philadelphia 76ers in the second round, I dug in a little more to learn about the team. Their best player was a free agent signing, Jalen Brunson, in 2022. Villanova kid, he won a national title in college, and he left the Dallas Mavericks because he wanted to be the lead guy on a team. He was the first big name to come to the Knicks in quite a few years. Others balked at the city, the owner, and the way the Knicks operated. Jalen Brunson is short. He's listed at like 6'2", small guy, great footwork, crafty, sneaky, about angles, selfless leader, married his high school sweetheart. You know, he's a young father. His father, a former Knick, is an assistant coach. 2 years ago, in 2024, when his contract was up for an extension, he left $113 million on the table. He still got 156, so he wasn't hurting, but he knew they were a playoff team and wanted them to get better and took less money so that they can improve the roster and surround him with the type of players and free agents that could win a title. It's very rare in today's sports, and especially in the NBA, for players to leave that type of money on the table. And it's especially rare in the NBA for the best player on a team to be, a very small point guard. He changed the culture there, brought effort, accountability, togetherness. And one thing he did that really stuck out after game 4 in the finals, a game the Knicks came back and won after being down by 29 points, when he met the media after the biggest comeback in history and one of the greatest moments in his career, he shared and focused on a chat he had with a young Make-A-Wish boy, Jonathan, who had a heart condition, who he had spoken to a week prior, who had just passed away. And he extended his condolences to him, and, he got really choked up, and it was, just talking about it, just what a great human being who was raised the right way. And, in a moment where it was the biggest moment in his career, he chose to focus and share about that, which, put it all in perspective. And I thought was really neat. Through their entire playoff run, it was a team effort. They had a 13-game winning streak. They had 2 sweeps. They won close games. They fought. They competed. They were clutch. They helped bring New York City together, and plenty of joy and memories for many to last a lifetime. Another player, Karl Anthony Towns, is a New Jersey kid from Edison High School. He grew up a big Knicks fan. Someone I grew up with in Marlboro, whose son plays a lot of basketball, plays at the gym where he went to high school. And there's all sorts of banners and different things acknowledging Karl Anthony Towns' high school career. He was a McDonald's All-American and, was on the path to the NBA at a pretty early age. His mom passed away in 2020. Was a huge Knicks fan, and he shared and felt that she was watching and guiding him and the team this entire spring. Just great, great stuff. Hard not to root for as someone who, again, was not a Knicks fan. Lastly, on the players, Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, a couple of Villanova kids that played there with Brunson. They won a national title together. Coach Jay Wright, their Villanova coach, bred winning players, focusing on the fundamentals, playing hard on defense, knowing their roles, doing the little things well. Josh Hart was actually asked what song he listened to before Game 5 to get himself pumped up, and he answered, "For Christ Alone." Wasn't rap, wasn't country music. It was, a song about Jesus. And I thought that was really cool. Their coach, Jay Wright, plays at Matita a couple times each summer. Hopefully Jalen Brunson will play there this summer, and he can be saluted by the membership and the people there. There's also tons of Villanova guys at Matita, whether they went there or their kids went there, which, was another reason where I found myself pulling for them, despite, really not liking the Knicks as I grew up. Lastly, and, most importantly as it relates to the Knicks that I want to talk about in the lessons, are their owner, James Dolan. He's owned the Knicks since 1999. Very intelligent businessman. Has had his challenges in life. It's reported he's a 30-plus year sober guy, which he's very open about. I'm a big relationship and community guy, which we've talked about. Seeing the mix of former players, both guys that won championships for the Knicks and guys that came up short, be included in this journey, being at games, mentoring and being there, and in some ways being in the trenches with the guys playing was really, really cool. I had no choice but to pull for them. And, James Dolan got out of the way. For years, he meddled, was very involved in the day-to-day, and he finally hired the right general manager and just left the basketball stuff to the basketball people. He learned that lessons after years of disappointment and, frankly, people in the city being very angry at him. I wish my Jets owner, Woody Johnson, would take a page out of that book and learn from that. Last year, the Knicks had a great year, but came up short of a title. And they changed coaches. The coach they had, Tom Thibodeau, very good coach, got a lot out of the team. But, Dolan and his general manager, Leon Rose, decided to go in another direction. And a lot of people didn't support that at the time. And it ended up being the best decision. And so Dolan, the owner, 5 games before the end of the regular season, he addressed the team and he challenged them. He shared the vision with them of what winning would look like, how the next 10 weeks could impact the rest of their lives. Legends and champions in New York City, ending a 53-year drought. And so he told them, you're here for a reason. Trust your coach. Really dig in. Ramp up your diet. Focus on your sleep. Focus on being focused. Ignore the media. Don't engage. He even encouraged them to abstain from sex and referenced the Spartans from years ago. Just awesome stuff. In general, I pull for a sober guy because I know how hard it is and the tough choices and effort that it requires. So kudos to the Knicks. Like I said, as a non-Knick fan, it was really fun to watch and learn from. Let's take the lessons from the other side of the coin. The team that lost the finals. This is a lot there. The San Antonio Spurs, who lost. Youth. They were the second youngest team to ever reach the NBA Finals. Part of being young has its costs, right? You got to pay your dues. You're learning. You're growing. They didn't close games very well. Close games. They had a young coach. They had leads in all of the final games and came up short. They were not clutch. Sometimes you learn more from losing than you do winning. In order to succeed, sometimes you need to fail. Sometimes epically and sometimes often. I can certainly relate to that. I'm sure you can as well. And just like golf, you have to learn how to finish rounds. Win your match. Play those last couple holes well. Going for a personal best score and getting tight on the last couple holes. I gave a shout out to Alex for making a hole-in-one. Last week, Alex had a shot to break 80, and he came up short, and he was pretty upset about it. But he's learning like everybody else. You'll get there one day, buddy. So in life, you have to pay your dues. Had they won it all at such an early stage of their careers and growth, maybe they would have gotten complacent or thought it was easy. Same with golf. Hitting the ball consistently well takes practice, repetition, hard work, muscle memory. Listen, at the end of the day, the Spurs overachieved, but winning it all was not in the cards this season. I'm sure there are things they wish they had done differently and will work on in this offseason. Congrats to them, and as well for a great season and a very exciting NBA Finals. If you're enjoying the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share on the platform you're watching or listening. It helps with the algorithm and all that fun stuff. Big finish. Win for the week, challenge, Bible verse. Win for the week. Melissa's 30-year high school reunion was a smashing success, and the effort she put in and the impact it had on others was inspiring and made me very proud. Great job, honey. My habits in New Jersey have been spot on, and I'm very connected with the kids despite being 750 miles away. The scale is getting very close, very, very close to my best college weight. Challenge. Listen, the food is so good in New Jersey and the Northeast. So, so good. Father's Day is coming up. My birthday is coming up. The plan is to continue on my no sweets journey, and I know that it's going to be a challenge. Bible verse. I chose something related to the Knicks from Philippians 2, verse 2. Then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and of one mind. So, some takeaways. Like-mindedness. Believers are encouraged to share a common perspective and focus. From the owner down to the people supporting the team, they were like-minded in their common focus. Same love, a selfless, sacrificial love that mirrors Christ's love. This love transcends personal differences and is foundational for maintaining unity. It's important when you're a team and going towards something to put everything aside and just, be on that mission together and have that same love for each other and what you're trying to accomplish. And shared purpose, work together toward common goals, particularly the advancement of the church, reflecting a collective commitment to God's vision. Just, listen, they were trying to win an NBA title, which is a little different than church exactly. But the fact is that they had a shared purpose. They set out on a mission and they accomplished it, and they're champions, and they're going to be able to call themselves champions and be recognized as that for the rest of their lives. Again, thank you to the Knicks and Spurs. It was really cool. And like I said, I was kind of formulating the Knicks stuff for literally a month. God bless. Thank you. And we'll see you next week. Hello, friends.